Hey, it's Daryl at 10 Foot Truck, Good Attitudes Services. And it's a nice fall day. Just sitting here in the parking lot, kind of thinking about what I'm going to do next with my delivery business and trucking and or junk removal and delivery service and that. And lately, I've been just cleaning out my storage unit. I've spent a lot of time just cleaning that out and finding sites where I can sell all that stuff. And I'm finding a lot of cool sites like Mercari. I think I talked about this before. Of course, I have offerup. I've been selling on there for a long time, and those two work the best. Sometimes I'll put it up on Craigslist, but you get a lot of scams on Craigslist, so you got to like filter through all those scams. Whereas Mercari, it's all directed through their app, so a lot of it's just shipped out on the post office or UPS. So that's been fairly easy to do. Haven't had any problems with that. OfferUp, sometimes I have to meet people at the house, and I don't really like doing that, but you can get you can get more people locally. So stuff that's big like furniture, and I gotta ship that out. So they do have a service on Mercari, and I did one sale where you opt out for local sales, and if a local person buys it, they have an Uber guy. They'll contract with Uber driver, and I'm not sure how they do that, but Uber driver shows up and he's given the package with the name of the customer, and then as soon as the Uber driver gets to the location where the buyer is and drops it off, and I guess they once they hit the app or whatever completed, then the money is whatever money you get is transferred into your Mercari account, and then you have to wait. In that sense, I don't think it takes that long. But when you're shipping it with the post office, you have to wait till it gets to where the post office, the mailman scans the package at the location where it's tracked, and then you have to wait 3 days for it gives you 3 days for the customer to review you, and if they don't, it just automatically it transfers into your account, and then you review the customer, and if they review you, then you review them. So that's kind of how it works with that. And that's for small items. A lot of stuff like I got out of storage, I've packed up so many CDs, and next I'm going through like all my DVDs. I'm trying to just sell them off on the sites as opposed to just taking them to Goodwill, because I've taken so much stuff there. It's like might as well make a few bucks off it. I have had this stuff for years, and I was wasting money on storage. I mean, I thought about the amount of money I was wasting with my storage unit. It was way more than what the stuff's worth. So in the end, you're like, might as well just get rid of it. And that's what I think a lot of people come around where I'm getting now. And I think this spring I'm really going to market with my truck more so than just pure junk removal and deliveries. I'm really going to market the storage units and storage cleanouts, because those storage cleanouts, they're much easier than having to deal with a house or something. You just go, you open the door, you take it, you load it in. It's very quick. And then you get a lot of stuff that you can resell later in a storage unit. People leave stuff in the storage units, of course, is going to be better than the stuff that's thrown in the junk. Of course, everyone's watched that show, Storage Wars, and how they buy storage units. I've never done that. And over the years, as a delivery guy with my truck, I never have had to do a Storage Wars type of thing, because for the most part, if people are getting tired of the storage, they'll usually just give it to you. I've had people give me storage units in the past. I mean, everything that's in it, they just take it all out because they don't want to pay on the storage anymore. Storage is so expensive, and especially around where I'm living. I've talked to the storage people, the one that I had my storage unit at. I canceled it, took it out, and then I realized later I might need storage, so I went back to look at the storage there again to see if I could get another one. And it's already went up in price because of the demand. There's such a high demand. So many people moving into this area that they don't have enough storage units, because when people move here, they don't have enough stuff to put in their house, so they have to have a storage. Almost everybody has to have a storage unit, especially if you live in an apartment. You have to have a storage unit until you can, like what I'm doing right now, is organizing and taking stuff out of boxes. I took basically everything that I had in storage and brought it into the house and put it in the living room, and now I'm just sorting it out using these sites to sell it all off. And whatever I don't want to sell, whatever's not any value at all, it's not worth my time. I just came back from a Goodwill run. I've been on so many Goodwill runs. I can't count how many. I mean, I have receipts of that. But just from that storage unit, I've been at least 4 times to the Goodwill. Plus, I had the customer that had the storage clean out. I went to Goodwill 4 or 5 times with them. So I've been there a lot, and it's a good Goodwill, so it's easy to get in and out. And we have a lot of thrift stores and all that stuff. So you can, there's all kinds of organizations where you can donate your stuff to, or especially around here. There's so many of them. I just go to Goodwill because it's very easy to go in. It's very easy to get out of there, and the way the traffic's set there, it's very easy. But I could go to 5 or 6 others just in that area. But yeah, I just sift out stuff, and the stuff that I feel is valuable, that I can recoup some of the money that I lost in storage. Of course, I'm going to list it on Mercari or OfferUp, or the last resort would be Craigslist, because Craigslist can be good, but lately the amount of scammers on there is unbelievable. And every time you put anything that's worth like $300 or whatever, like something like that, immediately you're going to get a scammer saying, I'll buy your item, but I have to, I'm not in town. When they start saying that they're not in town, and that and all this stuff about paying you through Cash App, or that stuff's bullshit. You either get cash, you either meet them somewhere and you get cash, or that's it. I ain't going to take no check. I'm not going to take a Cash App or Venmo, any of that when it comes to selling on Craigslist. Whereas Mercari, it's all set through your bank account. And you're dealing with, they do I think it's like $200 insurance on each shipment. So most of the stuff I ship is not worth $200. It's all worth like $20, $30, $40. It all adds up though. And what it is, it adds up in your account. You don't have to cash that money out in your account. You can just leave it in there, and you can go and buy stuff with that money that's built up in that Mercari account. So that's what I plan on doing with buying some stuff I need, like tools. And of course, I have a lot of tools from some of these storage cleanouts, but it's still, there are always tools that I need. I need to get a battery for my Milwaukee and a charger, so I can get that stuff on Mercari. So I can take the money that I'm making off my storage stuff and then just let it sit there. And then when I see something that I can buy, I can transfer it over to buy something that I want, like a tool or whatever. So it's a good handy site for anyone who's doing junk removal or storage cleanouts. But I really have been thinking about focusing exclusively marketing storage units. Just going to storage units, probably not now, but like right around March, where as spring is coming, where spring cleaning happens, where people are like starting to move again, and they're going, damn, I'm like putting so much money in that storage, and they're wanting to have that removed and offer that service, as opposed to focusing on moving or delivery. I'll still do that, but I just kind of want to get into that. I like that storage clean out. It's very interesting to me to do, and it's really much easier than lugging stuff up and down stairs. You're just taking it from the garage into your truck, and from the truck I can sort. Of course, I plan on getting a storage shed eventually, so that I can off some of the stuff in the storage shed as I'm sorting it out, because a lot of stuff ends up in my truck. I got no space for it. I don't have a storage unit anymore, so I'm sorting it out of the truck. What happens is it just hinders, it basically ties up my truck for all that time that I'm sorting, as I'm sorting, bringing it into the house, and then having to leave stuff in the truck. So I really do need a storage shed, something that's I can pay, and I have to pay monthly when I'll buy it and put it in the yard, and then it's paid for, so I don't have to worry. Like storage, it can be, the most I ever paid for storage was $450 a month, I think, or was it $500 a month? But it was a fairly large storage unit. But eventually it got overwhelming. I couldn't sell enough stuff out of there. And the last storage was around $80 a month, but I think now it's $100, and that's for a small little unit, something that's really not, you can't put a lot of stuff in. Where most people have, like a 10 by 10 or something like that, which is, I don't know what it is now, but it's not cheap. And if you add that up per month, per year, it's in the thousands of dollars. Like it could be $4,000 or $5,000. And a year goes by fast, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I just spent $4,000. I don't even know what the stuff in my storage unit is valued at. I haven't really done an inventory to even know what the value, if there is any value at all, because a lot of stuff is very difficult to sell. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It can take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of marketing. When you're listing these things, you have to you have to be very detailed to get anybody to buy it. And then it's sitting around, and you're like, well, how long do I want it sitting in my room or on a bookshelf or do I have to pay storage to let that sit there? So it's better to have a storage shed where it's already paid for, even if it's like $500 or $1,000. That's covered, so you can put the stuff in there knowing you're not losing value on your items. So I'm going to be doing that eventually, because I was tired of spending so much money on storage, and I'm sure a lot of people are. This country is really it's kind of different than a lot of other countries where people do accumulate a lot more material goods, and that's why the storage industry is like $1 billion industry. I mean, if you think about it, every place you go to, there's storage units everywhere, and they're always building new storage units. So it's a massive industry. And if I'm going to get stuff out of storage unit and do clean outs, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to charge someone to remove that. And then if I find something that's okay or decent, then I can use that and either use it or resell it and whatever. So something I'm looking into, and that's about enough of that ramble about storage units. I'm sure everybody here has some story about storage units. They're handy to have, but they're very expensive. And man, if I could, if I was way back when if I could invest it in storage units, that's something you can make a lot of money at. But of course, you have to have quite a bit of capital to invest in a storage facility. Now, one thing, I met a guy one time, and I thought this was interesting. When those shipping containers became available fairly cheap, you could buy them for like over maybe 2,000, 2,500, 2,500. Those big 52-foot or 30-foot whatever containers. Then I met a guy who put that in his yard, and he was charging like contractors and stuff to store their tools. I thought that was a smart idea. So if anybody has land out there, I don't know the legalities of that, or I don't know the laws behind that, or what kind of permits or whatever, but I know that people will pay you if you have. In fact, I think there's now that I think about it, I think there's an app to look into that, or you could actually rent your garage to people who need extra storage and don't want to pay a storage unit. So if you can get a container and you have a fair amount of property, and you can get those containers for like a couple $1,000s, they're big. I've been inside them. I've removed a lot of stuff out of those types of storage containers, and you could fit a lot of stuff in there. You can split them off. You could probably make a lot of money just with those containers and charge people, especially like people who have tools, like contractors who have to have secure storage. Those are very secure storages. So that's another thing to think about if you have where you can make your own storage money, would be having those big shipping containers on property. Yeah, I'll have to look up that app. I know there's an app I've heard about just recently where you can rent space in your garage. Now, I don't know if I'd be interested in doing that. First of all, I don't have a garage, but I don't know if I'd want to store my stuff in someone else's garage. I've come across that before where people were renting out parts of their garage. But if it was an app, it may be easier to manage and might be a little bit more secure for someone to do that. But it is interesting. It's still a big market, even with all these storage units popping up. I mean, there's all these side markets to help people store their stuff. So that's something really good to get into from one angle is marketing in the storage facilities. I'm sure a lot of people have done that. So I'm going to be doing more of that as I'm learning how I'm managing my storage situation. Enough of that. Well, I hope everything's going great. And that's about it. Good Attitude Services, which includes junk removal, delivery, junk removal or delivery, pickups, storage cleanouts. That's right. Now I'm adding storage cleanouts. And sometimes I do assembly. I haven't done assembly in a while, but occasionally I'll do, for the right type of price, I will do assemblies of prefab furniture. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks. 10foottruck.com.